Okay, so this is the next lecture based on 6-point method. In the previous section, we have discussed about the 6-point and the condition what gx, that is the 6-point iteration function that should satisfy. In this section, we will discuss 6-point iteration. Suppose you have to find out the 6-point of the function gx equal to 3 to 1 minus x. Find out 6-point of the function gx equal to 3 to 1 minus x. So what you do, you will put x equal to 3 raised to power minus x. Okay, so there it is not easy to compute solution of this equation. Okay, in order to compute 6-point, what you have to do, you have to compute the value of x, and it is not easy to compute the solution of this equation x equal to 3 raised to 1 minus x. So what we do, just write it that there is no way to compute 6-point as the equation x minus 3 raised to 1 minus x is complex, or we should say complicated. Okay, so what we do, we can however determine approximation to this 6-point to any specific degree of accuracy. Means what? When it is not easy to find out the solution of the equation x minus 3 raised to 1 minus x equal to 0, then what we do, we can determine the approximation to the 6-point to the desired accuracy. How to do that? For that, we'll write equation x equal to 3 raised to 1 minus xn in an iterative form. What we do, we'll write it left hand side as n plus 1 and the right hand side as xn, or we can say it is equivalent to g of xn. Right hand side is known to us. Right hand side is known. For that, what we do, we are assuming some initial guess. Okay, right hand side is known, then only we can compute the left hand side. So what we do, we'll take the value of n as 0, 1, 2 and so on. It will depend on the desired accuracy. So whenever we are putting n equal to 0, then we are getting x1 equal to g of x0. We required x0. x0 is called initial guess that will compute by hit and trial method or by some guess only. Okay, so x0 is what? That is initial guess that can be computed by the intermediate value theorem. Okay, how we can apply intermediate value theorem? As we have discussed in the bisection method, we can get an interval, and then interval initial point, midpoint or the final point, any of the point can be taken as the initial guess. Okay, so x0 that is called initial guess can be computed by IVT or by some another technique, some other way. Why somehow we have intuition that this could be the solution, then we can compute, then we can take initial guess near to that number. That is the procedure to take the initial guess. Okay, then after getting the value of x1, we'll put n equal to 1, get x2, n equal to 1, we can compute x2, by putting the value of x1 in g function. Okay, so we'll continue this process. We will form a sequence to compute x0, compute x1, x2, xn, and so on. It will generate a sequence. It will generate a sequence that is, suppose xn n equal to 0 to infinity, because and x0 we are providing, so xn sequence converge to the root, converge to the fixed point alpha. Since g is continuous, so we can write alpha equal to limit n is tending to infinity g of xn equal to g of alpha. This is 0. So this alpha we can compute by the iterative scheme xn plus 1 equal to gxn. Okay, let's do an example. Suppose you have to find solution of the equation x cube plus 4x square minus tan equal to 0. Find the root of the equation x cube plus 4x square minus tan equal to 0 in the interval 1 to 2 by 6-point method. What is 6-point method? That we have explained earlier. Like the equation fx equal to 0 can be written as in term of x equal to gx. Then we can iterate this x equal to gx, xn plus 1 equal to gxn, n equal to 0, 1, 2, and etc. Okay, so this is the fixed point method. So fx equal to 0 is given to you, that is x cube plus 4x square minus tan equal to 0. Now our aim is what? To compute the value of gx. So there are lot many ways to express fx equal to 0 in term of x equal to gx. So the first procedure, we can take the simplest method. We can take as add x to left hand side as well as right hand side. You can add x to the left hand side as well as right hand side. X equal to x cube plus 4x square minus tan plus x. So whatever you are getting on the right hand side, that is called gx. Okay, so x, we can write it x equal to g1 x. Let us name this g as g1 x, because we are taking as first g function. Okay, another procedure is what we can do. We can write it as this is 1gx. Okay, this is 1gx. Now there are another way to compute the value of gx. X cube plus 4x square minus tan equal to 0. Now expressed in terms of gx, x equal to gx. So what we can do, we can take x cube here, tan minus 4x square, and then x square equal to divide by x. There's some specific g I am taking, otherwise you can find out according to yourself. Okay, so x square equal to what? Tan minus tan upon x minus 4x square. Now get the value of x equal to x, then what is coming out to be tan minus 4x square upon x. Okay, or we can write it as tan upon x minus 4x square, 4x after dividing by x. This is your another gx. So we can take it as g2x. So what is the value of g2x? This is your g2x. Okay. Let us find out third g. What we can do, we can write it as x cube plus 4x square minus tan equal to 0. Compute the value of 4x square from here. That is tan minus x cube. Get the value of x. That means tan minus x cube upon 2. This is suppose another g, that is g3. Fourth is what? X cube plus 4x square equal to 10. We can take x square common from here. That is x plus 4 equal to 10. X equal to square root of tan upon x plus 4. Let us suppose it is g4x. And the fifth is, we are writing in a specific form. Let us define g5x as x minus f of x upon f dash x. This is called Newton's method. We'll explain this method later on. I'm just telling you another form of gx. That is what x minus function value is what here? X cube plus 4x square minus 10. And the differentiation of the function gx square plus 4x. This is your g5x. So here we got 5g, g1, g2, g3, g4, g5 by different procedures. So fx equal to 0 can be expressed in terms of x equal to gx by infinitely many ways. So here we are choosing 5 ways. So let's compare what is the difference between these 5 g's. Okay. So we can write here xn plus 1 equal to gxn. xn plus 1 equal to gxn, where n equal to 0, 1, 2 and so on. The function is given to you here, x cube plus 4x square minus 10 equal to 0. So first of all, we'll find out in which interval root exists. So f of 0, it is coming out to be minus 10. F of 1, that means we are applying intermediate value theorem. Okay, let us take f of 1, it is coming out to be 1 plus 4 minus 10, that is minus 5 negative value. F of 2, 8 plus 4 into 4 minus 10, it is a positive value. So f of 1, f of 2 less than 0, this implies that the root is lying inside the interval 1 to 2. So this is your interval in which the root is lying. So we have to find out fixed point inside this interval 1 to 2. As given in the question also, in this particular question, interval is given to you. Suppose the interval is not given, then we can compute interval by the intermediate value theorem. So here we have verified that the root is lying inside 1 to 2 or not. Obviously lying, because the f of 1, f of 2 is less than 0. Okay. Now, I told you how to choose x0 by the intermediate value theorem. So you are free to choose x0 as x0, that means the initial guess to apply fixed point equation method. So x0 initial guess, how to take x0, you can choose as 1, you can choose at the midpoint of the interval, or you can choose x0 as 2. You are free to choose any value inside this interval. Any value x0 inside the interval 1 to 2. You can choose 1, 1.1, 1.2 up to 2, any value in between the interval 1 to 2. But it is always good to take mid value inside the interval, because if the convergence is near to 1, then and you are choosing initial point as 2, then it will take time to move toward the exact root, approximate root, whatever the root, if it is near to 1. If the root is near to 2 and you are choosing 1 as the initial approximation, then again it will take more time. If you are taking mid value, then it will take equally time to move towards 1 or 2. So it is always good to choose midpoint as an initial approximation. Okay. Now, apply xn plus 1 equal to gxn. So, if we are taking the function x g1 is what given to you here. G1 is x cube plus 4x square minus x cube plus 4x square. G1x is x cube plus 4x square plus x minus 10. Okay, let us choose, let us check, or let us apply this rotation function to compute the fixed point. Okay, so xn plus 1 equal to gxn, and we are taking g as g1. Then whatever g we are choosing, it should satisfy two conditions. First is what? Existence of the fixed point, and second condition is what? Whether the fixed point is unique or not. So this g1 will check whether it is satisfy both the conditions or not. Okay, so in which interval we are taking fixed point? 1 to 2. This is your interval. This is a polynomial function. If we check g1 value at 1, what is the first condition? First condition that gx should be continuous. So we should say gx should belonging to the interval a to b, and gx belonging to c a b means what? Gx is continuous. Gx is continuous. So first thing is what? Gx should be continuous. Second thing is what? Gx belonging to a to b for all x belonging to a b. So let us check whether gx is continuous or not. It is a polynomial function, so gx is always continuous. Polynomial functions are always continuous, so g1x is continuous. Continuous. Okay. Second thing is what? Gx is belonging to AB or not for all x belonging to AB. So interval is what? 1 to 2. Let us check the endpoint of the function. G1 1 is 1 plus 4 plus 1 minus 10. It is coming out to be what? Minus 4. This doesn't lie inside the interval 1 to 2. And check another point. G22 is what? 8 plus 4 into 4 plus 2 minus 10. Okay, what the value is coming out to be? 24 or 26 minus 10, it is 16. This doesn't belong to the interval 1 to 2. Okay, so G11 and G22 doesn't belong into 1 to 2. So according to the theorem, there doesn't exist fixed point. But that condition is only necessary. This condition is only sufficient condition, not necessary condition. Okay, when this condition is not satisfied, then no need to check another condition, because first condition is not satisfied. Now we'll check another function, that is what? G2x. What is G2x? G2x is square root of 10 upon x minus 4x. Same thing, it will take G21. It is coming out to be 10 minus 4 under root 6, and the value of under root 6 is what? 2.44. 2.44. This is doesn't belonging to 1 to 2. If we are taking next value, that is G22. It is what? 10 upon 2 minus 4 into 2. That is 5 minus 8. That is imaginary number. Imaginary number. So G12 doesn't belong into the interval 1 to 2, and G2 1 doesn't belong into the interval 1 to 2, and G22 is also not belonging to interval 1 to 2. It is an imaginary number. So we can say that the condition is not satisfied. Let us check third G3, third function of G that we assumed here. G3x is what? That is 10 minus x cube upon 2. If you see, it is what? It is a function 10 minus x cube upon 2. Okay. So if we are taking G31, what is coming out to be? 9 upon 2. The value is G31 we are checking. That is what? 10 minus 1 upon 2. That is, this 2 is here only. Okay. This value is coming out to be 3 upon 2. That is 1.5. Value is lying inside the interval 1 to 2. Okay. First value is lying inside the interval. Second value will check. G32 is what? G32 is 10 minus 8 upon 2. That is square root of 2. This value doesn't belong to the interval 1 to 2. But since the first value is belonging to the interval and last value is not belonging to the interval, so we can check the function nature inside the interval 1 to 2. Function nature is what? If you see, G3x is what? 10 minus x cube upon 2. As x is increasing, G3x is decreasing. If you see the function G3x, this function is a decreasing function. And the first value lies inside the interval 1 to 2. As x is increasing, function is decreasing. So G3x is a decreasing function in the interval 1 to 2. And first value is belonging to the interval. At 2 we are having value that is less than 1. So what we can do, we can check in which interval the condition is satisfied. Let us shrink the interval 1 to 1.5 and check the condition. G3 1.5. What is G3 1.5 is coming out to be 1 by 2 under root 10 minus 1.5 whole cube. So this value is what? This value is 1.28. 1.28. This value is belonging to the interval 1 to 2. So we can say G3x is lying between, the minimum value is what? That is 1.28, and the maximum value, it is 1.5 for all x belonging to the interval 1 to 1.5. So if we are taking x 1 to 1.5, if the interval is 1 to 1.5, then G values or G3 values lying inside the interval, that is inside the interval 1 to 1.5. The minimum value of G3x is what? That is 1.28, and maximum value is 1.5. So this interval is lying inside the interval 1 to 1.5. So we can say G3x is belonging to 1 to 1.5. Okay. So existence theorem is satisfied. So there exists a fixed point inside the interval 1 to 1.5. Now we'll take second condition, uniqueness. What is uniqueness theorem? That is g dash x should be less than equal to k less than 1 for all x belonging to 1 to 2. If it is so, then we'll say there exists a fixed point and that is unique. So compute the value of g dash x. It is coming out to be what? Minus 3 upon 4 x square tan minus x cube is to a minus 1 by 2. Okay. If we take this value, this function is what? That is 3 upon 4 if we are taking mod value. If we are taking mod value. So the value is coming out to be 3 by 4 x square upon tan minus x cube square. In this case, x square is in the numerator and the denominator is containing the term tan minus x cube. If you see x is increasing, then this value g dash function is also increasing. So what we can do, we can check now we'll find out the function value inside the interval 1 to 1.5 where it is getting maximum value. So g3 dash inside the interval it is having, like if you see from 1 to 1.5 this function is increasing. So g3 dash x is increasing. So we'll find out the maximum value of g3 dash. Maximum value will be at the point 1.5. So g3 dash at 1.5 is coming out to be, that is 0.66. Okay, so we can say this, whatever the value of g3 dash 1.5 we are getting, this value we can call it as k. So we can say g3 dash x, since the maximum value is 0.66, so all the value of g3 dash will be less than 0.66. So we can say g3 dash x is less than equal to 0.66 for all x belonging to the interval 1 to 1.5. Okay, so and this 66 is what? That is less than 1. So since g3 x satisfy both the condition of existence and uniqueness condition. So we can say there exists a unique fixed point inside the interval 1 to 1.5. Here we are having choice to reduce the interval 1 to 2, but it is not always. So whenever you have to check whether we can reduce the function or not, so you have to check the nature of the function. This function is continuously increasing or decreasing. If the function is continuously increasing or decreasing, then we check function value at the endpoint. If the endpoint values are lying inside the interval, then we'll say there exists a fixed point inside the interval. Okay, if the function is fluctuating inside the interval, then we have to find out maxima and minima of the function. Then we can say something about the existence theorem. Okay, whether the all GS is lying inside the interval or not. So you have to take care whenever you are applying, you are checking condition of the 6-point theorem. Let us take another function, that is the fourth function g4x. If we are taking g4x is what? That is tan upon 4 plus x. This function is, if you see from here, as x is increasing, g4x is decreasing. Okay? As x is increasing, g4x is decreasing. So g4x is, or we can check from the derivative also, the function is coming out to be 5 upon under root, this is under root 10 4 plus x raised to power 3 by 2 derivative. Okay, this is negative, and this function is what? This is a decreasing function. g4x is a decreasing function. When it is decreasing function. When it is a decreasing function, so obviously inside the interval 1 to 2, function is decreasing. So maximum value will be at the point 1 and minimum value will be at the point 2. Then compute the g4 1 and g4 2. g4 1 is what? That is the value tan upon 4 plus x. Tan upon 4 plus x. X means what? That is 1. Tan upon 4 plus x square. That is 1.414. g2 is what? Tan upon 4 plus 2. It is tan upon 6. This is what? This is the maximum of gx, you can say, and this is the minimum of gx. Okay, so we can compute the value of g4x, and what we are getting here? We are getting tan divided by 6, and the square root value is this is 0.527046. Okay, so the minimum value is lying inside 1.4142, and we also find out g dash x. G dash x is what? That is minus 5 upon under root tan 4 plus x 3 by 2. And this is what? This is also a decreasing function. So maximum value of g4 dash x obtained at the point x equal to 1. So g4 dash 1 is coming out to be 0.15. This is the k value and less than 1. So g4 dash x, we can say it is less than or equal to 0.15, less than 1. So since it is less than 1, so uniqueness condition is satisfied. So this g4 we can also choose as the 6-point iteration function. Fifth is what? g5x is a obtained from the Newton's method. We will not take condition. We will explain this g5 condition whenever we will discuss about the Newton's method. Okay. So we have checked what we did till now. We wrote the function fx equal to 0 in term of x equal to gx. These g are not unique. We are getting 5 different g's. Okay, and then after that we check condition of the existence uniqueness for each and every g. g1x is not satisfying condition, g2x is also not satisfying, g3x is satisfying but inside the interval 1 to 1.5. That is the subinterval of 1 to 2. After that g4x is satisfying the condition inside the interval 1 to 2. Okay, and g5x is what? That is formed from the Newton's method. So now we'll check. Now we'll find out root of the or fixed point of the gx. Okay, so let us use different g's here, x, and this is for g1x, g2x, g3x, g4x, and g5x. So n equal to 0, we are taking equation is what? x1 equal to g n x. So g I s. I means what here? I equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. As I means what? There it is representing different g. G1, G2, G3, G4, G5. Okay. And xn is what? We are taking x0. As interval is what? That is 1 to 2. That's why we are taking x0 as 1.5 midpoint. So whenever we are giving here x0 is 1.5, then x1 will be what? g1 x0. g1 x0, g1 is what? This is our g1. Now we'll put x0. Here x0 is what? That is 1.5 we are taking, so 1.5, g1 1.5. So g1 1.5. The value is coming out to be, I am writing this value here. So we are taking here, just compute the value of x1. So we are starting from the 0. 0 means what? We are taking first iteration as initial approximation as 1.5 for each g. Okay, and after that we are computing x1. x1 will compute with the help of g1 x0, that is g1 1.5. The value is coming out to be here 3.875. 3.875. After getting value x1, will get the value of x2. x2 is coming out to be, that means x1, and this is the second iteration. It is coming out to be 67.5605. x3 is coming out to be 326.326, the value of x3. That is the third iteration. 326689. It's a big number. 0.8209. Fourth iteration, the value is coming out to be 3.486 into 10 raised to the power 16. Fifth iteration, it is going a large number and it is coming out to be infinity. Sixth iteration, all are infinity. So what it concludes, if we are computing x1, the value is 3.875, then x2 is 67.5606, then the third iteration is a large number, fourth iteration, it is going to increase. That means the sequence xn is not converging toward a number. I told you the fixed point is what? That should be inside the interval 1 to 2. But sequence is going away from 1 to 2, that means it is a divergent sequence. So this g1 we assume that will not work. Even it is not also satisfying the condition. But I told you that condition satisfied is not a necessary condition, it is only sufficient condition. But still, if it is satisfied, then obviously it will converge. Let's check g2x. g2x that we have given. So 1.5 will take, the second iteration is coming out to be 0.8165. Third iteration, sorry, this is what? This is the value of x0, this is the value of x1. The value of x2 is coming out to be 2.9969. Okay, this is the value of x2. Value of x2. The value of x3 is coming out to be minus 8.65 1 by 2. It is an imaginary number. We are getting x3 as imaginary number. So obviously we cannot get a real root of the or real fixed point of the function gx. So this will also not work. This will also not work. Now we'll check g3x. For g3x, the conditions are satisfied and we are taking the value initial approximation as 1.5 and the value of x1 we computed, that is what? 1.2869 Next value is 1.34545. Okay, so this is the value x0, x1, x2. Next is 1.34545, 1.37517, 1.367846. So these 7846. So these are the sequence we obtained by putting xn plus 1 equal to gxn. Okay, this is x3, x3, x4, and we will continue the process till we are not getting desired accuracy. Now discuss about the G4x. For G4x we are getting next iteration. 1.5 is our initial guess. Now x1 we are getting as 1.348399. The value of x3 1.36737. x4 is 1.364957, and x5 is 1.36526. Okay, and if we are using G5x, then we are getting result as 1.3733. This is your x1, x0 we have taken 1.36526. This is the value of x2. Next value is 1.36523. This is the value of x3, and 1.36523, that is x4. Now let's compare all these sequences. In G1 we are getting a divergent sequence. In G2 we are not able to get real number, that is the fixed point, that is going to be imaginary number. Now compare G3, G4, Gx, G5. In G3, if we want to achieve accuracy like within 10 raised to power minus 1, then you can see from here you are getting first iteration value you are getting 1.28, second iteration value 1.34, third iteration 1.37. So x2, if you find out the difference between x2 and x3, x3 minus x2, we are getting result accurate within 10 raised to power minus 1. That is what in the third iteration. And if you compare in G4x, you are getting same result in the second iteration. And for G5 function, even in the second iteration. So why it is happening? It is due to the fact because as we have in G3x, whenever we obtain the value of k, in G3x the value of k is what? That is 0.66. In G4x we are getting the value of k, that is 0.15. This value is comparatively less than the, so the value of k in G4 is comparatively less than the value of k in G3. That's why the fourth G4x will converge faster than G3x. So here, if we are increasing the accuracy, then it will converge faster. It will G4x will converge faster than G3x, and G5 is, since it is a Newton's method, its order of convergence is more than 6-point method. That's why it is converging faster. So just keep in mind, whenever if that value of k is less, then that particular G will converge faster. So that's why G4 is converging faster than the G3x, because the value of k is less in comparison to G3. So this question is done. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.